A wild western twist to a team of intergalactic underdogs. The Guardians of the Galaxy overcame many wars in their lifetime. Conquerors, gods, titans, and mad scientists. But in a world where cowboys reign, what sort of team would they be in this brand new canvas? In this new universe? Only time will tell, and that time is now. Peter Quill, legendary outlaw, the Star-Lord, was infamous in these parts, a former Ravager who would stop at nothing to punish the evil that roamed these sands. But when his eyes were set on a certain prize, Quill would meet more friends, but not in a good way. Gamora, daughter of Thanos, Drax the Gunslinger, and Rocket Raccoon and his tree steed Groot. Though they didn't get along, their next adventure would test their skills as a team to rescue the mayor of Hasselhoff Gulch. From the clutches of the Collector, no less. Peter states that there was no mayor in that town. Until now, that is. And after being chased by Yondu and the Ravengers and stopping the Collector, Peter saw the mayor was his own father, Ego, the mayor of Hasselhoff Gulch. Ego left the Gulch the day Peter was born. But Peter was very salty about seeing him again, especially when his mother died from falling off a cliff. But Ego begs Peter to stay, as he has something that he knows Peter would make his mother proud for. There was a treasure that was stolen by the infamous Thanos, the mad gunslinger, Gamora's father. Adopted father, shall I say. And that treasure was called the Embers of Genesis. One of those embers would restore an entire desert's ecosystem. A whole greenery would spread around the deserts if one was used, for all the years to come. Though Quill and crew weren't really best at working together and did get handed to them by Nebula, they came together to steal the embers and outwit Thanos and the Black Order. But someone else was after the embers, and that was Yondu and his Ravengers. Between the bad blood of Yondu and Peter and Thanos recovering from his beatdown, Drax foolishly alerted another sinister face to the bout, Ronan the Accuser. The fight for the embers was on. It was a brawl of insane carnage, but the fight soon broke up by Ego, who had demanded the embers. Little did anyone know, the living planet had planned to continue his expansion and needed two things to complete it: the embers and Peter, his heir and battery. To tear apart this gulch and to rebuild from the ashes. Peter asked why Ego would do this when Ego loved his mother. And he did. But if she had gotten in his way, the expansion, the reason for his existence, would be lost. And so he pushed his sick wife off the cliff to erase all about his plan. And will now silence anyone who gets in his way with a flash flood. Ego thought that he claimed the embers, but it was empty. Rocket had switched containers and left our heroes behind to sell them. But Groot and him have an emotional heart-to-heart, and Rocket went back to save Peter, Yondu, Gamora, Drax, and Nebula. Ego would stop at nothing to get those embers, and unless Peter surrenders himself, his world will burn and his friends will be fuel for his universe. Not wanting anyone else to suffer, Peter surrenders and leaves to stop Ego on his own. Yondu furiously pep talks all the others that if they don't work together, Ego will destroy everything, and Peter as well. Rocket couldn't care less, but Yondu sees right through him. Together, Yondu and the Guardians head back to Hasselhoff Gulch to stop Ego and rescue Peter. Peter stands face to face with Ego, who gives Peter a choice. Connected to his expansion is his assistant Mantis, who is Peter's sister, and she's being used as a battery. Either Peter joins him as a god, or have them both suffer with the expansion. But Peter makes a dash to free Mantis, only to be used as a battery himself. Luckily, the Guardians came to save him, but getting to Peter was going to be tough. Not wanting his son to die, Yondu sacrifices himself to free Peter, and gets fried by Ego. Ego had made his final mistake. First he had pushed Peter's mother, and now he fried his father. The two engaged in a final battle and had the embers of Genesis turn the Celestial into a life-sustaining plant, stopping him and destroying the expansion. Ego, the living planet, was dead, and his evil plan along with him. The Guardians stood before the tree that would spark hope to all in this universe, but their battles were far from over. Challengers like the High Evolutionary are still at large, but one by one, they'll hunt down each one of them at a time. Enemies of the wastelands and the deserts beware, but the scorching sands of planet Earth belong to the Guardians of the Wild West. Yee-haw! The fires are approaching us, Octavia. I don't know if I could stop it this time. Hope. Hope. We must hold on to hope.